1 out of every 2 people are running out of money before they run out of life. Now, a lot of people are unfamiliar with how 401ks came on the scene. This story is actually going to help educate you on an aspect of the 401k program that you've probably never heard about before. Before we get started, I want to bring up a quote. And this quote is from one of my favorite teachers, Dr. Miles Monroe. He talks about wherever purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. In other words, if I were to take my phone and take my 4 children out frisbee golfing on the weekend using my phone as the frisbee, I'm abusing the purpose of my phone and the phone's gonna break. Again, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Well, a lot of people don't realize that back in the 40s, if you were working for Ford, and let's say I was working for GM, and I wanted you to come work for me, back then it was actually illegal to offer more money per hour to incentivize you to come work for a competing employer. It would go a little something like this. Okay, Mr. Employee working at Ford, I work for GM and I heard you're the cat's meow when it comes to your expertise working over at Ford. And frankly, I want you to come work for me at GM. Now, I can't offer you more money per hour because it's illegal, but what I can do is if you'll work for me for 40 years, I will give you 80% of your highest year's salary for the rest of your retirement. Now, I'm thinking as the employer, he's never gonna work for me for 40 years. You're thinking as the employee, where do I sign? This is a great deal. Well, you fast forward 40 years and all these people who had parked their careers at one employer, they're starting to say it's time for me to retire and I want my pension. The pension costs were so insanely large that massive companies were going bankrupt just from the obligations of their pension programs. In steps Ted Benna. Ted Benna created a program through the IRS tax code 401 under subsection K, and he created this defined contribution plan to help these big employers offset the insane costs of these pension programs. And now it went a little bit like this. Okay, Mr. Employee, you work at Ford, you're really good at your job, I work for GM and I'd like you to come work for me. I can't give you a pension, but what I can do is if you're willing to work with me, I will match your contributions, we'll work together to build this pool of money throughout your tenure here at this employer. And at the end of your time working, when you're about ready to retire, drum roll please, you would take the lump sum of money and you would convert it into a pension. This was the entire purpose of the 401k, was to work together with your employer, create a pool of money, and then convert it to a pension. This was the entire purpose of why Ted Benna created the defined contribution plan. 401k, 403b, 457, TSP eventually is what came out of it. So what the heck happened? I'll tell you what happened. Wall Street happened. Wall Street saw trillions of dollars going through these retirement plans and they started licking their chops thinking, oh baby, we need to figure out how to get access to that funds. We need to convince the public, the American working middle class, that we've got a really good program that they should take that big lump sum and move it into. We'll call it the IRA. And what we'll do is we'll basically utilize what worked going up the mountain of accumulation. We'll convince them that going down the mountain of decumulation in retirement, that if you use the same strategy going up the mountain as going down, that it'll be the best way to do it, and we'll get fees the entire time. And now you fast forward to today, and 1 out of 2 people are literally dying broke, and they don't have enough money to last their entire life. The purpose of the 401k was not designed to be transferred or rolled over to an IRA and put in the market in risky investments. Ted Benna talked about in the movie that I happen to be a producer of. It's called The Baby Boomer Dilemma, and we'll show you how to get access to it in a moment. He talked about if you lose 20% of your retirement portfolio in the retirement red zone, which is 5 years before retirement and 5 years after, he said you'll never recover it. Now think about that. All it takes is a bear market. If you lose 20%, which is the definition of a bear market, and it typically happens 1 out of every 4 years, if that happens before or after in the retirement red zone, he said you would never recover that money. So what's happened? Wall Street has hijacked the American retiree situation, and they have convinced people, hey, we've gotten fees managing your money going up the mountain. Let's figure out how we can manage your fees until death. And 1 out of 2 people are running out of money. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want the success or failure of my retirement left to a 50-50 coin flip. Heads, I don't run out of money. Tails, I do run out of money. But that's exactly what's happened. It's important that you're educated on the purpose of your retirement plans. You're contributing potentially every single paycheck to it, and yet you don't even know the origins, or most people don't know the origins, and there is a better way, and I want to give you a free gift today. If you would like to get access to this movie that I just mentioned, it's got the founder of the 401k, Ted Benna, in this movie. You're going to want to click in the description below. I will send you a copy of this movie for free. Okay, you can actually opt in. I will send it to you. And it's got more than just the founder of the 401k. It's got the foremost expert of Social Security in the world, the largest financial whistleblower in American history, state comptrollers, Nobel-winning economists, PhD experts. And you know what the best part is? We didn't pay them a penny to say or talk in this film. We didn't tell them what to say. We didn't give them a script. They didn't have a dog in the fight. They didn't have an axe to grind. They were just trying to get this information out to the American public so you can make better, more informed decisions for your retirement. And we can reverse the curse of a 50% failure rate in retirement. That is unacceptable. I encourage you to opt in and get your copy of that movie today. We'll see you on the next video.